Alright guys, welcome back to episode 5 of our Tabletop Assault podcast. You're joined today with myself, David, as your host, and we have Ross and Rob. Say hello guys.
Hello guys.
Hello.
Excellent, so we've not had a podcast in a wee while, and that's apologies. We've been up to a whole ton of new ventures and add-ons for the channel and stuff that we're hoping to try and bring in 2020. So exciting things to come. But more importantly, guys, this is back weekly basis, and there's going to see a lot more consistent content coming out across the channel. But more importantly, what's going to be on the topic of discussion for today's podcast? So you've probably seen in the title, those who have seen the post we've done the last few days, we want to talk about tournament play. And the reason for that is Rob was recently at a tournament in Scotland, I believe.
Stockport,
sorry. I was close.
few hundred miles there, mate.
Yeah. My geography is pretty bad. So yeah,
literally connected to us, the country.
Okay. We were not going to get political, but my geography is bad. That's all everyone needs to know. So yeah, we're going to talk about tournament play as one of the elements for today. We're also going to talk about Psychic Awakening because we're kind of getting to the halfway point now, but we're not talking about Psychic Awakening as a whole. We're talking about the next Primarch release that we think might come during Psychic Awakening and our thoughts. And for those who have the books so far and are reading them, you've probably seen some very, very subtle hints about potential Primarchs in the Psychic Awakening books. And then lastly, we're going to talk about something really exciting actually, is the Games Workshop TV shows, which I think is kind of came out of the blue. I was quite shocked and surprised, but Games Workshop seemed to be really wanting to push it, and we kind of want to just give you our thoughts. Same rules as always, guys, in the chat. Be nice to each other, be friendly. We don't want to get flagged at all. But if you have any questions throughout the podcast as well, I'm going to be monitoring the chat section. Feel free to post any questions in there, and we will get to them as quick as we can, guys. We don't want anyone feeling left out. And naturally, there will always be a sort of replay as well with regards to this once we're all finished the podcast. So, guys, I'm going to hand it over to Rob, who was in the Stockport, not Scotland, to tell us about tournament play. We want to also kind of give you guys a bit of feel about it, those who are interested in getting into it, and just tell us about your experiences. So, Rob, over to you.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. It's good to be on the channel once again. So with tournament play, I said was at Caledonia Uprising, which is one of the biggest UK tournaments as it stands at the moment. So that's 94 competitors over 2 days. And to be brutally honest, it was absolutely mental. I came about 60th out of 94. So it was very, very difficult. I mean, I won one game. You could say class it as a draw on one game, and the rest I lost, but no massacres, which is the big thing. When I mean a massacre, it's a 20-0 win for the opponent. Saw guys like Hellstrom Gaming, Glasshammer, Manny Chimi, and all that lot. So a lot of the big competitive players, like the big teams, like the English team, Scottish team, guys from Belgium.
Rob, you better said hello from the rest of us, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a massive tournament. So to give you some insight in what I was doing, I took Yadmeka as always. So tweaked it ever so slightly because I don't want to really bring the list to the channel because it is quite. I find it's quite a horrible list to play against.
Agreed. So I'm going to say that right now, and can I just say quickly, Rob? Sorry to interrupt you. You've just said that live. Your list is horrible. I'm going to record that and keep that in my back pocket.
Thank you very much, but I'm going to bring it out against yourself at any time. Anyway, so I had 14 command points, but I spent one on Servitor Mana Pool, so it's better size, cool. Manipulus, Dominus, Engine Seer, Desolus, having 4 Grav Destroyers, 2 squads of 5 Vanguards, then 4 other squads of Vanguards, 3 robots, 2 Scorpius, mortar tanks. Then with Riser, I had 4 Plasma Destroyers, and then I had 10 priests, 5 rust stalkers, 5 infiltrators, and a termite. And combat with Riser, as Ross would know, is quite effective, and it did cause some severe issues. Termite, I couldn't roll for a charge to save my life, but it tanked absolutely everything. Toughness 8 vehicle that can deep strike in with 10 priests inside it that can actually go and get 3 up invuln save is absolutely fantastic, and cheap as chips as well. So sort list I played against on my first game was against an Eldar list, which I've been talking to good old Dave about. Because
sorry, Rob, can I just interrupt you, or just to reply to someone? Too school for cool. Well, sort of me and Stuart both play Custodes. He's actually quite a fan of them, but I do have 16 new models for them. So they'll be. I won't say what they are, but I need to base them. But they got finished about a week or 2 ago. So they'll be coming about at some point. But I don't think David's going to be playing Custodes at the moment. He plays way too many things at the moment. Don't need to add something else to his arsenal.
A
whole new army then.
So Rob, yeah, I'm interested to hear about this. Keep going, buddy.
Right, okay, so as Davey's our local Eldar fanatic, so the sort of list that I played first off was an actual custom craft world that you can create from the book. So there's expert crafters and masterful shots. So basically is the whole army itself ignores cover, and every unit in the shooting phase rerolls 1 dice to hit and 1 dice to wound. And this is a War Walker, Wraith Lord, Wraith Seer spam with 9 vibro cannons and 3 night spinners. So ignoring line of sight is the meta at the moment, and it is absolutely lethal. Absolutely lethal. A guy called Gaz Jones, who actually plays for England team, spot on bloke. I lost by literally 1 point against him. And I said he plays for England itself. Yeah, I was 8 points up end of turn 5. It went to turn 6, and he got 9 points in one go, which is a bit of gutting, but it was a very, very good game. What do you think, sir, that sort of craft world there, Dave?
So, I've only played 1 tournament in my entire life, and when I did that, I took craft worlds, and I think craft worlds are always a solid army. But I was quite surprised when I went to the tournament. You see all these armies and you think your list is pretty strong, you think you've worked out a power list, but there's always someone with a better list and a stronger list out there. And that list you just described to me pretty much sums up. If I was to take my Elder list, I think it was good, and then I'd see that and I'd be like, cool, I'll go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's one of the meta style lists for Eldar at the moment. Very, very strong. I was on the top few tables to start off with, because it's a Swiss draw on there. But it was very, very strong list. The amount of missile launches he had was ridiculous. But at the same time, I was like, losing by 1 point was a little bit gutting, but at the same time, really enjoyable game.
So Rob, just a really quick question while you're on talking about lists as well. I don't know if we're going to cover this, but one thing that really surprised me, and I think people might be interested to hear, is there any sort of general sort of rules of thumb when doing your lists for tournament play as opposed to just playing with your friends?
Right. Well, what I do, a little bit of fluff, but you want some severe punishment to put out. Like I said, with my list, I'm tweaking it now to have more plasma, because the meta for AdMech is plasma destroyers. All plasma destroyers under Riser, because you, as Ross knows, is you get the 1 point stratagem to go, okay, plus 1 damage, plus 1 to wounds, anything with a squad. And if you have a squad of 9 or even 10 plasma destroyers, that's 10d6 plasma shots. And if you have your Dominus and your plus 1 to hit, that's hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, normally wounding even knights on 3s with 3 damage hits at minus 3 damage. It's a scary thought. So at the moment, I'm looking at okay, maxing out on certain things. It at the moment for the meta is, like I said, is line of sight ignoring. So thunderfire cannons, void weaponry
Okay. Yep.
is the big one. So you need to see that sort of meta as it is at the moment. I mean, I'll go into a little bit of meta later on for chaos, because there's a big thing going on about possessed bombs.
Oh right, never interested about that. Not heard about that yet.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I mean, I've not seen any, I've not played against any, but there's a lot going on about possessed bombs where they can be absolutely broken, and they're hard to shift, and they'll just walk through absolutely anything. But I digress slightly. So going on to my second game was actually against some Space Marines of the Iron Hands variety.
Okay.
This was, it was a guy called Marcus that I played against, another Englishman, and who plays ITC and ETC rules. And this is whirlwinds, rapier destroyers, flyers, 6 flyers, so 3 Stormhawks and 3 Storm Talons. Tech Marine is his warlord, Mastering Machine. So basically, a turn he can do heal 6 damage to anything that's within. So heal 3 damage. Sorry, then there's 1 point stratagem to heal it again for another 3 damage. So you can keep like Thunderfire cannons alive. Any flies that come anywhere near, you can heal those as well. Again, there's a hell of a lot of line of sight ignoring. But the problem that he had on the mission that we got was troops on the ground to score the victory points, and he had no troops on the ground. So I won that one quite successfully, because I literally just wiped the floor. Again, absolutely laugh-a-minute bloke, brilliant guy to play against. First time against proper Iron Hands in the new meta, but I think he just got caught short on the actual the mission itself. And the last game on day 1 was I got up to table 10, which was great for first tournament, and it was the chaos list of 3 Lord of Skulls,
right,
with a load of brimstones for objective securing, Lord Discordant, Araman for some spells, etc., buffs, Master Possession for more buffs. He stole the initiative and went hell for leather against me. So if I got first turn, I would have thought I'd be done a little bit better, because literally 4 Plasma Destroyers dropped to Lord of Skulls in one go, which I was quite impressed about. But I just couldn't keep up with the amount of firepower those Lord of Skulls pump out. Didn't lose massively, but I lost to a stage whereby I got knocked down quite a bit.
So how did the guy steal initiative?
Sorry?
Louise saying, ask Rob how the guy stole, emphasizing on how he stole the initiative.
I went as attacker.
Yeah.
So I set up my army first, he set up second, and he rolled a 6 to steal the initiative.
Okay.
So nothing new there then.
I was expecting someone saying, ask him how, and I was thinking, was it another way than rolling a dice and getting a 6? But
no.
Well, Ross, I wouldn't put it past some weird rules, because we all remember Age of Sigmar when that got first released. It had some wacky, funky rules. So maybe tournament play. In this particular tournament, they added something.
Louise told me about this. It was with with your own dice, your own custom dice. He used one of yours and rolled a 6.
Yeah, my very own precious Riser orange dice. He went, can I borrow one of your dice? I went, okay, if you really must. And he rolled it and he got a 6 straight away. So I was absolutely, it was sort of like kick between the legs sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, it was I got to turn 5, so I didn't make it easy for him. But yeah, it was. I think it was over after turn 1, to be honest. But I kept on scoring the points, which is the main thing. I don't give up on these games. The more points you score, even if it's a loss, you still get points yourself.
And is that like a tournament-specific style of play? Like,
keep playing,
you'll get the points. It's going to accumulate over time.
It is, and like I say, I lost 3 out of the 5 games, but I still made a good run of points, as it was. Day 2, another Iron Hands list, but this one was slightly more broken than it was. So it was the Invicta war suits, scouts for days, attack box for days, Thunderfire cannons, and all the flyers you can think about. That one I lost quite badly on, but his dice were scorching hot, to put it politely.
Was he using yours?
Funny man, not. No, he wasn't. But he got some really, really good combos set off. Ignoring line of sight, excuse me. I just couldn't touch him. Termite had a 5-inch charge and basically failed twice. So I just gave up after that. But that one I got a bit of handed to. But again, another English player from the team. I started to go down the table slightly then. But the very last game I was playing against a Tau list. This one I was not enjoying. A guy called Kyle, and it was 3 commanders, 2 squads of Pathfinders, 54 drones, ethereal, cadre, a couple of Pathfinders, and 3 Riptides. So I got first turn. So I went first, and I went, brilliant! Wrath and Mars on the robots, mortal wounds for days. No, it was about 6 or 7 drones. I think I killed in total about 12 drones in turn 1 out of 5 different squads.
That's actually not that bad. We all know how pain it is to kill drones, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, but I was aiming for the Riptide to try and bring the Riptide down, but it was just passing through between different squads, and it wasn't pretty. Again, kept on going. I don't give up on these sort of games itself, because you always score points, and it does help with your end of play. I mean, I lost by about 10 points in the end, which doesn't sound a huge amount over the scheme of things, because it's 33-23.
So that's actually not too bad. That's respectable.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't give him 2 inches to play with, so to speak. But it was a strong list, and he was rolling in-run saves on his shield drones for days. Couldn't hit for toffee on marker lights, but he just could take the damage. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. But the top 3 players, so you had Zeech come top, a guy called Anthony Chu. James McKenzie came through with Force of the Hive Mind, and Manny Chimi came through with Chaos with his Possessed Bomb, which is basically Alpha Legion, Lord Discord, Master Possession, Dark Apostle, 3 squads of 5 Chaos Marines, 20 Nurgle Possessed, then Word Bearers with Demon Prince, 2 Sorcerers, and then another Demon Prince, Dark Apostle, 3 sets of 3 Nurglings, and 3 Plague Crawlers.
Ross, did you write all that down?
I sure did.
Cool. Good, that's what we're doing next.
Yeah, so basically, Master Possession had Cursed Earth, Infernal Power, Shepherd of the True Faith, CP, and basically that is the Possessed Bomb by all accounts. Don't know how it works, guys, so please don't ask me, because I've not fought against it or read into it, but it is one of these things that is quite strong. Don't know how it's going to be affected later on, but yeah.
If it made top 3, then it's obviously going to be got some value to it and some staying power, because it's had to come up against different varieties of armies, and it stood tall against them. So
and stable as well. I mean, there was then 3 Marines, Genius to the Cult, Blood Angels, Orc up there, loads of Marine players, absolutely shed load. Tau's in the top 20. First Eldari players in 25. Nids made an appearance, but not hugely. So yeah, it was. I mean, the first Admech player came in at 47, so you can see how strong Marines are, and Marines are absolutely killing it at the moment in tournament play. So yeah, that was Cali 2020. Hopefully, I can go back there next year with a slightly stronger list. But painting up there was absolutely brilliant. The guys up there were absolutely great. 3-hour game, so hour and a half per person, and it was on chess clock as well. So how the chess clock works is you do your turn, and then you flip it over at the end of your turn. Or what it should be is when the opponent doing armor saves, etc., you flip it over to them. They do their armor saves, flip it back to you to do your next step. So you have to flip it back between your opponents quite a lot. And it did knock out a load of slow players because it was like 3 hours for the whole game, hour and a half per person.
You need to the tournament's going to have a finite end date, isn't it? So you need to get things rolling. You don't have the luxury of just playing at your own speed.
No, not anymore, because people were using and abusing it to the extent, and it made people very, very angry that they were getting like 2 turns out of it, and they were scoring a win because in those 2 turns they were absolutely blitzing it and then played ridiculously slowly. But sorry guys, it's not going to happen anymore.
So Rob, just to kind of before we close off this piece, for those who are listening, and especially in the replay version, those who come across this, is there any top tips for getting into a tournament that you would suggest, or anything that you would recommend to prepare for tournaments for those who are maybe interested in getting involved in that scene?
Right, the easiest way of doing it is try. That is easy. I mean, that's when I started off, is create a list that you're comfortable with playing. It may not be the best thing in the world. You can look on the internet, you can look on YouTube, you can look here, there, and absolutely everywhere for the meta list at the moment. But to be fair, is a lot of players don't look at the meta list. It's enjoyable to create a list yourself, and if it beats a meta list, it makes it feel even better because you've created something to beat that meta list. And if you want to start tournament play, find your local tournament. There's loads going on in the country. Absolutely shed loads. You even go to your local gaming club and tell the organisers, create a gaming tournament, play it, get used to your list, play it for a good 3-4 months so you're physically comfortable and knowing every single angle of what you're creating. Then find a local tournament, go to it and enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do any more, because the whole point of this hobby is to enjoy it. There's guys out there that go to town on tournaments, and fair play to them. They know the rules inside out. They know the lists inside out, and they run meta lists inside out. I go there for giggles a lot of the time. I try my best to win every single game. I'm not there just to make up the numbers, but at the same time is find a list you're comfortable with. Tweak it however you want, but find this you're comfortable with, take it to a local tournament and play and enjoy it. Then if you go, that was really good, you meet a load of new guys, go to another one, then go to another one. Then if you want to try out for like the tournaments at Elemental Games, go for it. They're really well run, simple setup on there, and you'll see a lot of the big guys go to these tournaments, and again, meet them, talk to them, enjoy it. There's loads like Throne of Skulls at Warhammer World, which is another big one. That's a load of guys that make up the numbers, but it's an absolute laugh and a giggle.
Sounds good. You touched on the right point, though. It's all about having fun.
It is. But if you don't feel you want to do tournament play, then don't. It's a complete different kettle of fish. It really is.
Okay, well, Rob, thank you very much. And for, again, those who are interested in tournament play, there you go. There's some top tips from our resident tournament player on the channel. And Rob, thanks as well for sharing about how your latest experience went. I know it was an enjoyable tournament for you. You really seemed to enjoy it, so good stuff. Well, we'll move on. We've got some more topics, guys, for us all to discuss. This is probably one I'm quite excited to talk about because I'm very biased when it comes to chaos things.
You always
But yeah, but we're gonna go. We're gonna have a wee chat about psychic awakening, right? But not psychic awakening in its entirety. We're going to talk about psychic awakening as in Primarchs. So, as you all know, there's been a lot of rumours in the books that have been released so far. A lot of subtle hints at potential Primarchs to be released. A lot of subtle hints at Primarchs to go away and escapade and all that sort of stuff. So, more importantly, we want to have a wee roundtable discussion about what we think is going to happen. Will there be a Primarch by the end of Psychic Awakening? Or will they won't be? Or which one will it be? Will it be loyal? Will it be chaos? Now I'm going to save my opinions to last. I really want to pass it on to Ross. Yeah, I want to pass it on to Ross actually, because Ross has, as you've seen guys from our Psychic Awakening early release reviews, Ross has had his head stuck in the books. So Ross is probably more qualified than any of us to chat about it to start with. So Ross, over to you. What's your thoughts?
So a simple answer on that one. If there's going to be a Primarch before the end of Psychic Awakening, my answer is probably going to be no.
Right.
Simply for the simple reason that we've got Blood Angels done. Well, they were never going to get one. Dark Angels was the most predictable one. Didn't happen. Chaos has been covered unless they go back to Chaos again. It really only leaves as major factions you'll probably see is Space Wolves. If they are predicted to be, I think, in 2 books' time. They're predicted with Saga the Beast. They could surprise us and bring back Lehman Russ. Could be a subtle hint there, but I've not seen any word of that. There's been no hints of that as far as I can see. Maybe small tidbits. But the biggest ones have been the Chaos Primarchs have been a little bit more active in 8th edition as a whole. Angron, I think, is going for Armageddon, I think. Don't quote me on that one. I think Logar was mentioned in Psychic Awakening, the one with Chaos Space Marines, Sister Battle, Part Sister Battle mentioned, and Space Marines, he was mentioned, but not a huge player. And then the latest, am I allowed to speak about the latest book? What's in it?
Yeah, well, what do you mean by the latest book?
Because it's not released till tomorrow, till Saturday.
We as a channel are signed off to talk about it. We are allowed to talk about it, yes.
Okay. There is a subtle hint to Emperor's Children doing some. I pointed this out to you, David. There's some Emperor's Children, and there's messages of the Vox and everything, and there's Emperor's Children did a odd thing, and then there's been other parts, and I think the Astra Militarum Codex or something, where a giant snake-like demon creature came out, and everyone was like, "It's Fulgrim, it's Fulgrim." So Emperor's Children have been one that I'm like, what are they up to? They've been mentioned on sidelines and codexes and books, and there's been subtle hints here and there. Whether it leads to a Primarch or not, I don't know. But I'm going to say now that Dark Angels, which was the one everyone thought, oh, it's going to be the line, that one's gone. I really don't think we'll see one for Psychic Awakening. If there is going to be a Primarch, I don't know. It'll probably be, as a next edition thing, we'll probably, I might eat my words when tomorrow at Las Vegas Open, I think it's actually 5 a.m. UK time, there's a reveal tomorrow. I could be wrong on that, but, I think we're going to see some stuff revealed at Las Vegas Open. Adepticon, I believe, is where they showed Mortarion hint 2-3 years ago, 2017. So I simply don't know now. I think that now most of the Marines are out the way. It's just not going to lead to a Primarch.
Okay, that's a fair evaluation. And no, Ross, don't worry, you're not spoiling it for anyone. You're allowed to chat about the book. You're signed off to do it, so feel free.
Hooray.
And I guess for those who are listening, you've just had a wee early hint of some of the lore that's coming. But I think it's a fair point. So you're, by the sound of things, then you're veering more towards there will not be a Primarch released by the end of Psychic Awakening. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And if there was to be, if I could push you for, if there was to be a fluke Primarch release, do you have a suggestion of what you think it could be?
If I was to push come to shove, it would, again, it's going to be Lion or Fulgrim. They're the ones, again, the most words in terms of the lore, but the only one left really in my mind is what you call him, Lehman Russ.
Okay.
That is the only one. If you're going to get it by then, there might be someone at the very end who ends Psychic Awakening. If not, it's potluck, whoever you want. I don't know.
Okay. So, well, there you go, Ross. That's your thoughts. Appreciated. So, obviously, you're feeling there won't be one. Rob, pass it on to you, buddy. What's your thoughts so far?
I would like a Imperial Primarch to come back. Don't know if it will or not. As we've all seen, there's been a shed load of Primaris characters being released for a lot of the main heroes. That yes, the models have been dated for 15, 20 odd years, which is fair dues.
Good updates, though. Good updates.
Yeah, very, very good updates. I've not got myself Mephiston yet, which should be on the cards shortly. It would be nice having another Imperial Primarch. Players have got two. They're quite nicely used. They're really, really nice models, to be fair. It would just be really nice to have. I think a lot of Imperium players, Marine players, would say yes. If there's no Primarch, a lot of narrative players will want it in 40k. Don't know how it would affect in big games, etc., like tournament games and that, where they'll be used and this, that, and the other. But
it's a tough one for Imperium Primarchs. It's actually a really tough one to pin down if they're going to continue doing that. In my opinion, really tough.
It is. I mean, it was really, really good when they released it for start of 8th edition. And it was a big draw for everybody to go, oh my dear God, they're bringing Primarchs into 40k to be used. Fantastic. So then when Guilliman Mortarion was released, they were flying off the shelves like you won't believe. Then when Magnus got dropped, even better as well.
I think when Magnus dropped, I need to be honest, I think it was better than Christmas for me.
Magnus was the first one to come out.
He was the only one that needed to come out. All these Mortarians and Robot Girlwomen, why are they here? Go away. This is not your playground. This is Magnus's playground.
Bias.
I remember I told you Magnus was coming out, David, and you told me, nope, not going to happen. You saw it wrong. You saw the rumours wrong. And then you're like, oh, no, it is.
Yeah, okay, you have that one victory over me. Okay, that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a jab to Battle Reports, David. I don't know if you meant that. But that
yes, it is. Fight. But yeah, I think a lot of people will be shouting and screaming for another Imperial Primarch to be released. To be honest, I don't think it will. But there's shouts and screams over it. Like I said, they've released a load of Primaris characters, which all look absolutely fantastic, to be fair. To go to one step further, nobody knows. Game-wise, nobody knows. There's fluff there to be used, but for it to actually happen this time around, I'm not so sure.
So, same question to you, Rob, then. Obviously, I can tell you're more leaning towards the no side. Of no release for Primarchs, but if there was to be one release, you've kind of touched on Imperium a little bit there. What would the next Primarch that you would like to see come out if you were to have that option?
If I had the option, I would like, just because it's different, would be Lion. And the reason for that is because everybody shouts and screams about Space Wolves, or Space Puppies, I should say. Sorry, I'm going to get a load of abuse now for saying that.
Don't worry, the whole Ultramarine community hates me, so you're okay.
Well, yeah. Puppy Power is love the lore on Space Wolves. They've got really, really good characters. They need a revamp themselves, but it's just something about Lionel Johnson that is intriguing. It's going to link it with a lot of Chaos players and Imperium players, and how secretive are they? What's gone wrong? What's gone right? What are they doing? That I think is more on the fluff side than anything. But I think a Lionel Johnson Primarch model like that, I think, yeah.
I think Lion would be the most interesting narratively against Guilliman. Leman Russ, I don't think would be as interesting as the Lion would be, but there's speculations away on that.
Yeah, I mean, if Russ came back miraculously out of the warp and half werewolf, half Primarch, would be actually quite cool to look at, so on and so forth. But I think getting something from the Rock, get Lionel Johnson out of his cage, running riot, finding the Fallen, and just unleash against chaos, I think would sound epic, look epic, because again, the models that they're doing at the moment look absolutely fantastic, and kudos to GW for doing it. But I think it'll just be really, really nice to have something left field and go, oh yeah, we're just going to, here's Russ. Away you go, guys.
Fair enough. Okay. Well,
Here we go. Go on, David.
Oh yeah, I'm going to just throw a massive curveball in this right away. So,
as you do.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm going to horribly say I don't believe there'll be another Primarch released, but this is where a curveball comes in.
Do you mean ever, or do you mean before Psychic Awakening?
Yeah, let me rephrase that then. I don't think there's going to be a new Primarch released by the end of Psychic Awakening. That's my honest opinion. Because the curveball I'm going to throw is I think there's going to be an equivalent to a Primarch released before Psychic Awakening, and I'm going to bet on it right now because I got the squared bases bet right when we did the last podcast, and I said squared bases is a return to old fantasy. I was right. I nailed it, and everyone said I was wrong. So I'm going to try it again. It's going to be
90% sure what you're going to say.
It's going to be the Silent King.
Yeah, I thought that. But you've told me that.
So it's going to be Necrons. I think there's been a rumor mill about Zarek the Silent King returning, and I can't remember in the rumor of when the Necron book is due to come out. I think it's towards the end, but
that's where I think it's the second to last book.
Second to last, okay.
With Admech in there.
So that's what we're thinking. So
because that's the Void Dragon stories, etc.
Yeah. So the reason why, guys, please give me a moment to explain my logic, because this will make some semblance of sense. And I'm a gambling man. So right, think about it. The Psychic Awakening is all about this crazy rift. The warp's going nuts. The rift is tearing. I think there's even a new rift appeared that Magnus is going nuts with. So there's all this crazy psychic happenings, and chaos are going nuts. Demons are going nuts. It's all out of control, right? Realistically, you've got Grey Knights fighting on one side. You've got Space Marines everywhere else. Everything's stretched. But what, during the whole Fall of Cadia books, what was the one defining factors that was holding chaos in the war back? It was Necron pylons, right?
With the help of the Pokemon Master himself.
Yep, and that Pokemon Master might come back again to save the day a second time. But anyway, my point being is Necrons were an intrinsical part of that story arc, which was they have the ability and the knowledge to keep chaos back. Realistically, I think the Silent King will return from his epic crusade of redemption and feeling bad about what's happened to the Necron, or the Necron tier, I should say. And I believe that he's going to be the one that comes back and pushes back the warp. Resets the balance, I guess you could say. Not like an Age of Sigmar reset where everyone dies and it's these new realms. I mean, actually pushes chaos back, because if you do look at like the lore and the sort of lore maps, chaos is getting a little bit out of control, in my opinion. It seemed to be...
Yeah, they are going nuts.
They're going nuts. Yeah, the campaign's narrative is always still skewed towards Guilliman wins at the end of the day, which does my head in. I can't explain how much it does my head in. But the point being is, lore-wise, chaos are going a little bit too crazy. The galaxy's a bit too consumed. And it makes it very difficult when you've got chaos being as powerful they are. Well, then how do you start to do a narrative for Tau to expand? Because everywhere they expand to is nuts. It's just all a bit crazy. So I think Necrons are going to come back, and it's the Silent King will be that sort of reset button, similar to like Age of Sigmar. I can't remember the character in Warhammer Old Fantasy. I can't remember the character that was like the defining character in that caused all the problem. But
Storm of Chaos. That would have been Sigmund Arc.
No, not Storm of Chaos. The End Times. The End Times.
End Times. It would be Archaon.
I think it was. Well, either way, there was a defining character that caused the whole nuts to go crazy, and I think that Zerak the Silent King is
at the end of End Times.
Yeah,
Manfred. There
you go. It was Manfred that threw a spanner in the works and reset the balance. So I think that's what Zerak the Silent King is going to do, because there is rumour that after Psychic Awakening, there could be a sort of Warhammer 8.5, Warhammer 9, Warhammer 40k 8.5, Warhammer 40k 9, whatever you want to call it. And we've seen this with the End Times campaign. There was a big reset. We could be having that. We're coming up to more than 3 years now, or after more than 3 years? Yeah, for 8th edition.
2017.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it's coming to three for revamp.
Yeah. So we're actually hitting around that time, and I think what nicer reset button than it could be the Necron Silent King, using old technology from Necrons to push the warp back and seal up the rift. Because I don't see anyone in the Imperium sealing up the rift. Elder, well, let's not even go there.
Oh, Admech are working on it.
Yeah, of course. Well, they're still playing with their toys and their illegal AIs and things like that. They'll get too distracted.
For the rumour of Psychic Awakening for the last 3 books, it looks like Imperial Guard and Genestealer Cult, the enemy within. I mean, these names may be changing or inaccurate, don't know. But you've got Blackstone Wars, which is Imperial Knights, Admech, and Necrons.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be the big one. Then the very last one, Dark Prophecies, which looks to be Custodes, Harlequins, and potentially, I think it may be Demon. I'm not 100% sure. So the last 3 books are going to be very, very intriguing. How this is going to be portrayed. I mean, the next 2 books are very good in Saga of the Beast.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Anything could happen.
So you've well, there you go, guys. You've heard my gambit, which is I think there will be a major character released. Yes, I'm agreeing with you all. It won't be a Primarch, but I think it'll be an equivalent to a Primarch. For the Necrons, it'll be Zerak the Silent King. We'll give it a few more weeks, few more months when Psychic Awakening finishes, and we'll revisit if my bet was right. So we'll see how we go.
Sounds good.
Alright guys, again, we're going to take a quick pause here, so any questions you have or anything we're talking about today, remember, put it in the chat, guys. I'll be monitoring it and we can get back to them as best we can. But we're going to move on then to the final segment of the podcast, and it's quite an interesting, exciting one, I think, for all Games Workshop fans and hobbyists, because I think it's something a lot of people have been maybe stung by in the past. If we all remember the Ultramarines movie that came out, some people loved it, some people hated it. It was mixed reviews. But Games Workshop is now going to be really progressing into the world of media. So we're looking at TV shows, and there's been a lot of reveals coming out for animated TV shows, live action TV shows. Eisenhorn is one of them. And it's just a really exciting time for Games Workshop, an exciting time for the hobbyists. And we just want to have a thought about what we think about the shows coming up, or what we've been told so far. So Ross, I'll pass it on to you, buddy. What do you know so far, I guess I should say, and what's your thoughts about this new expansion of the company?
Well, I think it's a good one. TV at the moment is, I mean, certainly probably in the past decade, TV has taken over as a massive medium due to the way we now stream. I'm going into that talk. We stream things, etc., play for subscriptions, etc. And it's just becoming our choice of what we view as became so predominant. And rather than, maybe sometimes people preferring to go to cinema, etc., for that experience, they can get the experience at home quite easily. And the quality of TV shows, not saying about the ending of any particular TV shows, but, the general TV shows do quite well. So it makes perfect sense for them to go with this already rich lore and background and everything and visuals. It makes perfect sense to go into TVs. Like, there's no questions on that one. The two I've seen a wee bit, like, I've not followed it too much because I still think partly they're a wee bit away, though I do believe Angels of Death, which is the Blood Angels one, it was announced like 2018, December 2018. So it's been they've trickled stuff out, but I think they're now, they did a post this week about the music of Games Workshop and everything. So I think that's good. And then at New Year, I think it was, they did a big sort of montage of different bits from the TV show to show where they're working on. So there's going to be a few things going on there. I think
it's
but
exciting.
It's exciting, but it's almost too early for me to really say anything. There's a lot of questions of now you're going into how everything should be connected and everything, but literally, how is the 40k? What I'd argue about Psychic Awakening, it doesn't feel as connected as it should be. Things are not consequencing into the other. So how are they going to connect it all narratively will be what I'm interested in, to make it feel like a more connected universe, rather than going, we're going to do a war zone here, it's going to be about Eisenhorn here. There needs to be a connected, almost, villain, which, all right, it worked well with Thanos, but there needs to be a sort of connecting thread throughout it all, and I'm intrigued to see what that might be. Separate stories away from themselves would be okay, but I just wanted to make sure there is a connection, that we feel like it is a consequential universe, and big events do actually have an effect overall. Maybe people might prefer them being separate stories, I don't know, but that's just my feelings on it.
It's a fair point though, Ross. I think you're right. Consequences in the way they do their lore in the books, and now possibly the TV shows as well. It should have a massive impact in a play, because I think some people have been stung by, Storm of Chaos was a big disappointment, End Times was maybe a disappointment for some. So I think consequences and how it impacts the game should run through the whole sort of brand. That's my opinion. Alright, thanks Ross. Rob, anything from you, but anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, it's something that me and you talked about before going live. It's sort of like with Eisenhorn. Get Liam Neeson as lead on that. That would be absolutely epic.
Liam Neeson, start a petition.
Yeah, Liam Neeson for Eisenhorn.
Just say it's not that ambitious to do so. They did get David Tennant and Billy Piper back, the original, not the original, as Chris Eccleston, as Doctor Who combo to read the books, do voiceovers. So you never know.
Yeah, they sure did.
It would be very, very good. But media ways for GW is always a big thing. And I think themselves actually realised if we tap into that media pot, it could absolutely explode the company itself, explode the franchise, explode absolutely everything. Tap into more people that want to do the hobby. It's been going on for 30 odd years now.
Yeah, it's a long-standing hobby, that's for sure.
Yeah, 30, 35 years or so. I can't remember, guys. And I think it'll be 35, 40 years into the future if they carry on the way that they are. And media is going to be a big, big influence on it as well. It's going to be good. It's going to be like for guys like anime like myself, cartoons, yes, live action, sci-fi is going to be big, and it's going to be really, really entertaining. And it'll be interesting to see what they do first.
So I think you've touched on something really important there as well, and it's going to be one of my points, but I think we just talk about just now is the brand, the franchise. So you think about it, one of Games Workshop's biggest challenges is always trying to be introducing new people to the hobby, but it's always been sort of introduced at a really young age, and then you buy into it at a really young age, and it's something that it sticks with you. Let's be honest. I think people who are a lot older may struggle to get into Warhammer at an older age, purely because there's a certain maybe stigma attached to it. Let's be honest. But having TV shows out there gives a real sense of, I don't know, but it allows people to buy into it through the TV shows, and then there's a natural progression into the hobby. And I guess the game world, the gaming franchises, all the games out there helps the stepping stone that as well.
I mean, it's like the Mortal Realms packs that they're doing, and so coming up the Conquest for 40k. So that was bouncing off the shelves like it's going out of fashion. I picked up a couple of Mortal Realms this week, and not to promote the channel, but like for instance, Dave on their adverts, they're actually showing Games Workshop Mortal Realms adverts.
Yeah.
And where do you see GW actually making any adverts for TV? This is a hobby, guys. This is what we're doing. Come and have a look. shops all over the country, all over the world.
I
Come
think
and see what we do.
I think the last time there was actually a time there was a TV advert out, and
There
guys,
was one.
yeah, you can go on YouTube and find different variations and also comedy variations of it. But there was, I think it was only in America though. There was a TV
I think
advert.
it was, yeah.
I think that was probably the very early 2000s.
It's got to be. It was cheesy like you wouldn't believe, but at the same time, it was trying to hit into that market. I don't think it did that brilliantly, to be honest. But the hobby is going from strength to strength every single month, year, decade.
So I think we're all kind of in agreement. It's a really positive step that the Games Workshop is making as the TV shows. I'm really excited to see what they actually produce. I love all forms of media, if it's anime, live action, whatever. I'll give you my quick thoughts on it, and then I think there's a couple of key points we just want to put to the channel chat and also just to us around the table. But I think, as Ross said, I think the Blood Angels one is probably going to be one of the first releases they do, because that was one of the first to be announced, and it seems to be they've really been progressing with that one more than anything else. I would not be surprised if there is announcements at LVO to do with sort of TV, etc. It seems to be something that's high on their agenda, but I'm excited. I just hope that the animations and the storyline is good. I will put my hand up and be the first to say I was not a fan of the Ultramarine movie. I got the limited edition special
You're
order.
a bit biased on that one, David. You hate Ultramarines.
Yeah, I know, but there was Imperial Fists in it as well.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, there was an Imperial Fist, I think, in it.
Singular, yes.
Yeah, it was something to do with GW, so I had to buy it and see it. And you're totally right. I am completely biased against Ultramarines, but I still thought the film was quite poorly executed. Especially when at that time you had the animation intro for the Dawn of War series, and that was just brilliant. I was like, turn this introduction into a movie, please, and you've got my money. Just take it. So I think they've probably built a lot of feedback off of that, and I think they're going to hit this really, really hard, and it'll probably be a big success. Look at all the fan-made animations that are out there on YouTube. Everyone loves
hundreds.
them. Yeah, everyone loves them. They're all great made. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if, I think actually one of a YouTube animator was brought on board. I'm not going to name them because in case I'm wrong, but I'm sure there was a YouTube animator that has been brought on board to their team. So that can only be positive from the fan perspective. TV shows, live action shows, well, whenever you adapt a game, hobby-wise, tabletop, or even video game into a TV show, let's not kid ourselves. It can be tough, but I think it's a good step. It's a bold step. I just hope they get the right actors, and that's really my question for the chat. We all know that Eisenhorn is definitely been announced. They've not announced yet who the actor is going to be, or who the actors and actresses, I should say, is going to be. But
Liam Nielsen.
Liam Nielsen, yeah. So guys, if you can in the chat, and for those who watch the replay, in the comment section, we want to hear who you think would be the best person to play Eisenhorn. The suggestion that I thought would be really good, and Rob did steal it from me, would be Henry Cavill. But let's not kid ourselves, he's pretty tied up at the moment with the Witcher series, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I think he would have nailed the role pretty well. But guys, let us know what you think is going to be the best person for Eisenhorn. You've got Rob's vote. He wants Liam Neeson. I would vote for that too. Ross, what do you think?
I have no idea. No idea. It's going to be whoever it is. I couldn't think of it if you asked me, which you did, and I have no idea.
Okay, fair enough. Put you in the spot there.
Yep.
So I mean, like characters. I mean, if they bring any like assassins, there's Gina Cara, I think her name is. She's an MMA fighter. She was in Fast and Furious as well, and in Deadpool as well as Angel. Mm-hmm. If you recognise that the actress there, she would be really, really good as like an Eversaw assassin because she's powerful. She's quite stocky, but an absolute brute. Then you want sort of for like the calories. Shut up there, Ross. I can hear you.
No, I'm laughing at comments.
Right, okay. But you've got like
I think Rob, there's a lot of potential, isn't there? To grow it and do more shows and more. The arcs they could go down is endless for the Warhammer universe.
Oh, massively, absolutely massively. They just need to pick the right actor who is actually in. It'd be good to get actors and actresses that are actually interested in the hobby,
Yeah.
know what the hobby is and what it is for the fan base, and use them, not just Joe Blogs it's off the street.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay.
That'll be a big impact into the what they do if they don't get somebody that's actually knows what the hobby is
about. Thank you very much, guys. Well, before we finish up, then, we've got a couple of questions that came in. So obviously, 2 Skill for Cool, who is trolling me today with custode comments. Thank you. At least it's not Ultramarine comments, so that's fine. If all the Primarchs came back, including the ones that are still alive, including, Loyalist Fulgrim and the Necron, I'm assuming you're meaning the Silent King, who would come out on top and survive? So I'm going to give my answer straight away because it's pretty obvious. I don't think there's any question. And Too Cool for School, I'm sorry, but it's obviously Magnus, so he wins, hands down, and there was never any contest in that.
Rob, he did nothing wrong. Yeah?
It's not that. Yep, he did nothing wrong, and well, he's just glorious in every single way. So no one would like to strike that man down because he'll blow them up with his mind. Rob, what about yourself? Who do you think would win?
Belisarius Cool.
Sure, we're putting him in the category then of like Primarch-esque.
Well, he built 90% of the stuff that they use. No,
fair point.
To be honest, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. The Silent King itself, he's a force to be reckoned with of the highest order. I think he would break most Primarchs quite easily.
I agree. Well, the Silent King is meant to be, he's meant to have almost nearly all the knowledge of the galaxy. So
pretty much, and lore and everything like that. He is a very strong being. He's not being is quite a strong word on that. He is a strong being himself. But yeah. My votes with that.
So we've got 1 vote for Magnus, which was always going to happen. 1 vote for the Silent King. For those who also know, by the way, I'm a massive Horus fan because Horus did nothing wrong either. But no, Magnus still would trump Horus, hands down. Just to clear that up in case anyone's going to ask. Ross, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think Too School for Cool was asking about the Silent King. He was asking, including the Loyalist Fulgrim that was collected. Like, there's a Loyalist, apparently a perfect.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Clone.
Okay.
So it's not really it's really between the Primarchs. It's whoever gets a good drop on the other one. To be honest, that's kind of how it goes. We had Conrad, who is dead, absolutely, troll. What's his name? Of the salamanders. Well, torture him, and Vulcan for a while. Then he got hurt. I don't want to say too much because in case people haven't read the Horse. It's a difficult one, and then obviously Demon Primarchs we haven't got a full scale of what their potential is. Porto-Rabo, I would love to see what Porto-Rabo has truly become. A Demon Primarch, but I'd love for it to be almost more machine.
I can tell you
than demon.
I'm just gonna give a massive spoiler, Ross. So in a chessboard.
Yes.
The rook.
Yes.
That's what Porto-Rabo's become, just a giant rook.
I mean, he was always a guy who goes in a straight line, left and straight forwards and all that. So Fulgrim certainly pushed him in a few directions he didn't want to go in. It's a difficult one. Who do I think would win? It's different. I'd almost say Magnus because his schemes will always cause him to win. But a straight up fight, I don't think Magnus would win so much. There's certain Demon Primarchs out there who I think would certainly take Magnus if he didn't get to plan. He's the Batman of the 40k universe. If he gets to plan, he can beat anyone. But although maybe some people find out what happens in Psychic Awakening, I don't want to ruin the lore if people haven't read it already. But Magnus is there. That's what I'll say.
Magnus is always there. He's always scheming, always out for revenge. So,
but of course, Tyranids will win.
Yeah. So Ross, are you going to name one, or are you going to leave your vote open?
I'm going to say Magnus as long as it's time to prepare.
So, there you go. It's a unanimous decision. The winner overall will be Magnus. As long as he can plan, then Magnus will win.
Mm-hmm.
I do like your suggestion of Vinnie Jones to Cool for School to play Eisenhorn. I don't know how I feel about that, but sure, that could work.
Cheeky Cockney con man playing as Eisenhorn.
Exactly. You'd have to maybe produce then. Guy Ritchie would have to produce Eisenhorn to probably make that one work and make that one pull off. So guys,
Stock and Two Smoking Barrels Part 2.
Yeah. So guys, that'll bring an end to today's podcast. Short, sweet. We want to say thank you to everyone who actually joined us today, and everyone who, again, if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for tuning in to watch this episode. Again, that's the channel sort of back in full swing. As you now know, we had a sort of off period over the holidays there, so thank you for all being patient with us. But more battle reports, more games, more reviews. It's all coming, guys. It's an exciting year, and we hope you guys are going to stick with us to join it. So comment, like, share and subscribe. Hope to see you again for the next episode, and more importantly, we hope to see you on one of our Tabletop Assault battle reports. See you later, guys.
See you guys.